For decades, the name Kalabagh has echoed through the corridors of power in Pakistan. It represents more than just a proposed mega project on the mighty Indus River. It is a symbol of our nation's deepest divisions and our most pressing needs. The idea, conceived years ago, was a grand vision to harness the river's power to provide cheap electricity and store water for our parched lands. Located in the Mianwali district of Punjab, the dam was designed to be a cornerstone of Pakistan's water and energy security. It promised to be a lifeline, a solution to drought and power shortages. The Kalabagh Dam project was presented as a fundamental step towards national prosperity. Proponents painted a picture of a transformed Pakistan, where industries would thrive and farmers would no longer pray for rain. The dam's reservoir was intended to store monsoon floodwaters and release them during dry seasons, irrigating millions of acres and boosting our economy. For a nation struggling, the promise of Kalabagh seemed like a beacon of hope. However, this dream soon became a source of profound conflict, exposing the deep-seated mistrust between our provinces. The debate moved beyond technical specifications, entering the realm of politics and provincial rights. The conversation shifted to whether it should be built at all, a question that remains unanswered, leaving the project in political limbo. The failure to build the Kalabagh Dam is a story of missed opportunities, of how political interests can overpower national interests. Every year, as floods ravage our communities or power cuts cripple our cities, the ghost of Kalabagh returns to haunt us. It reminds us of what could have been: a secure water supply, abundant energy, and a stronger economy. The debate continues, but on the ground, nothing changes. The site where a great dam was meant to stand remains empty, a silent testament to our inability to unite for a common cause. The opposition to the Kalabagh Dam is not monolithic. It is a complex tapestry woven from the distinct fears and grievances of 3 of Pakistan's 4 provinces. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the primary concern is the very real threat of catastrophic flooding. The proposed location of the dam would create a large reservoir that would submerge several towns, including Nowshera. The memory of past floods is still fresh in the minds of the people, and the thought of a man-made structure exacerbating this risk is simply unacceptable. They fear that their fertile lands, homes, and livelihoods would be sacrificed for the benefit of regions downstream. For Sindh, the province that lies at the tail end of the Indus River system, the issue is existential. The fear in Sindh is that the Kalabagh Dam would act as a giant tap, controlled by Punjab, effectively giving the upper riparian province the power to turn off the water supply to the lower basin. Sindh already complains bitterly that it does not receive its fair share of water, as mandated by the 1991 Water Apportionment Accord. The construction of another large dam upstream is seen as the final nail in the coffin for its agricultural economy. Sindhi farmers believe it would lead to a devastating reduction in freshwater flow, causing seawater to intrude further inland and rendering vast swaths of fertile land barren and saline. Balochistan, though not situated directly on the Indus, stands in solidarity with Sindh and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Its opposition is rooted in the principle of provincial autonomy and a deep-seated distrust of the Federation's handling of natural resources. Leaders in Balochistan argue that if the rights of Sindh and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa can be overlooked, their own claims to water and resources will be further marginalized. They see the push for Kalabagh Dam as another example of a Punjab-centric development model that ignores the legitimate concerns of the smaller provinces. For Balochistan, supporting the dam would mean betraying the very principles of provincial rights for which they have long fought. In stark contrast, Punjab remains the staunchest supporter of the Kalabagh Dam. As the country's most populous province and its agricultural heartland, Punjab views the dam as essential for its future. Its leaders argue that the project is vital for storing water to irrigate its vast farmlands and for generating low-cost hydropower needed to fuel its industries. They dismiss the concerns of other provinces as exaggerated myths, insisting that modern engineering can mitigate the risks of flooding and that water distribution would be managed fairly. From Punjab's perspective, the opposition to the dam is not based on facts, but on petty provincial politics, which is holding the entire country's progress hostage. In Pakistan, water is a powerful political tool. The Kalabagh Dam controversy has become fertile ground for political parties to cultivate vote banks by stoking regional fears. For decades, politicians, particularly in the smaller provinces, have used the dam as a rallying cry to mobilize support, presenting themselves as defenders of provincial rights against the perceived hegemony of Punjab. By framing the debate as a struggle for survival, they transform a technical issue into an emotional one, making rational discussion nearly impossible and winning elections. This political manipulation has created a deep chasm of mistrust between the provinces. Statements by dam proponents in Punjab are viewed with suspicion in Sindh or Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, seen as ploys to usurp water rights. Objections from smaller provinces are dismissed in Punjab as political point scoring. This cycle has poisoned national discourse, dooming consensus-building attempts. The media amplifies these divisions. Talk shows pit politicians against each other, creating conflict spectacles. Headlines provoke outrage, and complex reports are reduced to emotionally charged sound bites. This reinforces prejudices and deepens polarization, creating an us versus them narrative. Political exploitation of the Kalabagh Dam issue serves short-term interests at the nation's long-term expense. By prioritizing electoral gains over national unity, leaders fail to resolve a critical challenge. The dam is held captive by a political system thriving on division and mistrust. The real casualty is the prospect of a united and prosperous Pakistan. To move forward, we must honestly acknowledge the fears that fuel the opposition to the Kalabagh Dam. For the people of Sindh, the primary fear is the loss of water, a threat to their very existence. They envision a future where the mighty Indus is reduced to a trickle by the time it reaches their province, destroying the delicate Indus Delta ecosystem and devastating the livelihoods of millions who depend on agriculture and fishing. This is not an abstract concern. It is a daily anxiety for a province that has already seen its water share diminish over time. Any discussion about the dam must begin by addressing this fundamental fear with credible, internationally verified guarantees, not just empty political promises. Similarly, the concerns of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa cannot be dismissed as mere political posturing. The province has a legitimate fear of widespread flooding and displacement. The proposed height of the dam and the size of its reservoir raise valid questions about the safety of cities like Nowshera and the surrounding fertile plains of the Peshawar Valley. The people of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa demand assurances that their homes and lands will not be submerged. They need to see transparent, independent environmental impact assessments and engineering studies that address the risk of waterlogging and seismic activity in their region. Without these assurances, their opposition will remain steadfast and justified in their eyes. On the other side of the ledger lie the enormous potential benefits of the Kalabagh Dam, benefits that the entire nation desperately needs. The project is designed to generate a significant amount of low-cost hydroelectricity, which would help end the crippling power shortages that have stunted our economic growth for years. This would not only power our homes and industries, but also save billions of dollars currently spent on importing expensive furnace oil. Furthermore, the dam's massive water storage capacity would be a game-changer for our agriculture, allowing for the controlled release of water to irrigate lands across the country and dramatically improving our food security. The path forward, therefore, lies not in abandoning the project, nor in forcing it upon unwilling partners. The only solution is to build a bridge of trust over the troubled waters of suspicion. This requires a new beginning, an open and honest national dialogue facilitated by neutral experts and respected civil society members, not by polarizing politicians. All technical data, impact assessments, and distribution plans must be laid bare for public scrutiny. The legitimate fears of Sindh and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa must be addressed with concrete, enforceable safeguards. Only when every province feels that its voice has been heard and its interests protected can we hope to achieve the consensus needed to unlock Pakistan's true potential.